So welcome to Sunday morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us and joining us today. We sure appreciate it. And we're really looking forward to hopefully someday soon coming back together in physical form. Today I was able to join a meeting where we have been meeting through WebEx, or equivalent of Zoom, for quite a while now. And so today we had several of us that were able to meet physically with our masks on, and some still through the internet. But it was so fun. People were so excited to come together. There's only a few of us, but it was such a meaningful experience, and everybody was just smiling and giggling and quite rowdy, actually, with enthusiasm of being in physical form with each other. So it was really fun. It gave me a little inkling of what we're going to be experiencing when we can come back into physical form, and it's going to be such an exciting and fun time, such a great experience. So we're going to start off this morning with an opening prayer with Reverend Kindra.
Good morning, everyone. So if you'd like to join me in going into our heart center, we'll all take a nice deep breath together. And just noticing that we are all alive in this time that is truly a marker in history, and that we've all come here during this time to contribute. And so I invite us all to lift up our eyes unto the hills from which cometh our help, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding be with us. May we face the past and all of the energy that has already occurred with bravery and clear sight, and offer our heart centers like Care Bears shooting rainbows towards that past timeline, healing, accepting, listening, and shining the light so bright that it transmutes and transforms all of what's already occurred. May we stand strong with our feet firmly planted on this earth during this time, working with the Mother to transform all of that energy back to pure potential for humanity. And then facing forward towards the future that we are creating together, I invite you to shine your light as bright as you can, imagining a rainbow, if that resonates with you, onto the future timelines, actively activating the highest possibility of experience for us all and all future generations to come. Amen.
Thank you, Kindra. Appreciate that very much. So I'm going to start out with a little quote, and it's from Vince Gauman. He says, "You can't change the world until you see yourself as the world, and then you can only change yourself." Oh man, if that isn't true. And it goes along with the whole theme of what all of this strangeness is really pointing towards. So as we started this year, I remembered so well that I was reviewing all the astrological events that were going to happen in 2020. And it was full of eclipses and supermoons and planetary alignments and solar events and meteor showers and planetary conjunctions. That's where the planets come together from our point of view on Earth, and then their energetic signatures affect us in quite a profound way together. So it kind of amplifies things. And those real powerful planetary events. And then there's many others that I can't even remember what all they were. But I do remember reading all that and thinking, wow, it's going to be such a great year, such an exciting year. So many things are going to be happening. I wonder how that's going to unfold, and I wonder what the outcome of this is going to be. Well, if I'd had any idea about what was going to unfold with all these planetary events in 2020, I think I would have just stayed in bed and pulled up my covers and stayed there for a while. but I didn't know, and that's probably a good thing. So I've started calling this year of 2020 the year of the breath. As this year is unfolding, it continues to appear to be more and more about the breath. It takes a person's breath away. George Floyd died from lack of oxygen, of not being able to breathe. Much of the protester signs say, "I can't breathe." And the other thing that occurred to me the other day was how vaping has become a very popular industry, not judging it good or bad, but it too is about the breath. As people are coming out of their homes, they're seeking fresh air to breathe. That's the one thing I keep hearing from people. Oh, I just need some fresh air. And they're seeking nature. They want to get back into the parks and into the forest so they can have fresh air. And as a planetary event, big business is cutting down the Amazon forest at an alarming rate. We're losing 150 acres every minute of every day. There are 78 million acres lost every year since they've started. So 20% of our Amazon forest is already gone. And the Amazon forest is our planet's lungs. And it's the breath of the mother. Mother Earth's breath is being taken away. So we can see a correlation of what we're doing to our planet, what we're doing to our great mother, and what we are experiencing as a reflection. At least in my opinion, it's a reflection of what we're doing, because we can't damage the earth without damaging ourselves. We are from the planet. We are made of the material of the planet. We are one with our planet. And we're not separate from it. We're here because of it. And so whatever is happening to the planet is going to happen to us. In healing work and in most spiritual practices, the breath is a big part of the healing practice. Many disciplines will say, simplify it down to the breath. Life is breath. Our breath is life. And every human being has to have it in order to live. No matter what your race is, no matter what your creed, no matter what your walk of life is, how rich or poor, it doesn't make any difference. The universal thing that every one of us has to have is breath. In an article written by Vince Gauman, he reminds us that we cannot hold our breath. I thought that was kind of an interesting concept, but it's the truth. We cannot hold our breath for very long. When we breathe in, we cannot hold on to it. We have to let it go. We can only live by letting go. And then when we let go, then we have room for more. And we can have our next in-breath. This seems to be the year of letting go. It is the year of the out-breath. We have to let go of every perception that we ever thought the world was. We are being forced to let go of our needs to gather, our ideas of how things must be. Our routines have been seriously disrupted. We had to let go of what we thought our routine needed to be, our habits, our favorite restaurants to eat at, just to name a few of the things that we have let go just recently in the last few months. Balance is very important, both the in-breath and the out-breath, and back again. So we must consider our breathing as going both ways, in and out and in. Are we only breathing out? Or are we only breathing in? If we're only breathing out, then our energy is only going outward and we're giving ourselves away to others, and we're not breathing in, giving to ourselves. So in other words, on the in-breath, if we're just taking up all the air in the room, think of the terminology. Somebody walks in and they just suck the air out of the room. That's it being out of balance also. But I find that every time I see the news, I wind up holding my breath. So I don't watch the news because I choose breath. Can't stand it. But if we follow the breath, then this has been a great letting go of the stale air, of the used up air, that we are in this big exhale. And what is next after we exhale is the great inhale. So hopefully that comes when we've exhausted our exhale. The fresh air that we're going to be inhaling at some point in time is full of life-giving oxygen, rejuvenation, and revitalization. Another way to look at it is our breath is out of balance. This means on all levels, personal, planetary, collectively, etc. And we can help restore balance by being mindful of not only giving to others, but giving to ourselves as well. If we only give out oxygen, going out to care for others, we do not take the in-breath caring for ourselves, and we are out of balance. Being mindful of what comes out with our out-breath, such as our words and our prayers, is very important. Right now in the public, much of the writers have this tremendous out-breath going on, and it's full of words that we can't even repeat. But then we also have the opportunity to have out-breath of prayers. And right now our ministerial team here at the Home Center is doing a really beautiful job with their prayers. I have to say I'm really proud of the work they're doing, and the way Connie is leading them in their prayers, in their prayer group, is lovely. It's very, very lovely. We have a beautiful out-breath of prayers happening here. So in the riots, there's a lot of ugliness that's happening in the out-breath, and a lot of shouting of ugly words. But it's an example of the pain that people are feeling. They're screaming out the pain that they're feeling collectively and personally within themselves. However, it doesn't mean they have the right to be destructive because of that pain. Well, through all of this, I was drawn to pick up the book, The Prophet by Gibran. And there's a section in there that's about law, L-A-W, law. And the portion of this section seemed fitting for what we're seeing in the world and how we see ourselves as our role in the light worker. And I want to share that with you, or at least a small portion of it. So I'm going to start kind of in the middle of this part. And it says, "But to whom life is a rock, the law a chisel, with which we can carve it into our own likeness." And that's kind of what I see happening. We see the law as a rock, and the people are trying to carve it so that it fits their image of what they see for themselves. "What is the cripple who hates dancers? What of the ox who loves his yoke and deems the elk and deer of the forest as stray vagrant things? What of the old serpent who cannot shed his skin and calls all others naked and shameless? And of him who comes early to the wedding feast, and when overfed and tired goes his way, saying that all feasts are violations and all feasters lawbreakers?" So I thought these sentences, these questions, were really poignant for what we're seeing right now, where people are just viewing what's opposite of them, or experiencing their own shortcomings, and judging the other as wrong, judging the other as what they can't see for themselves or what they can't experience. And we have a lot of that happening right now. They're forgetting the oneness and the honor of somebody else that's different than them as being whole and complete. It goes on to say, "What shall I say of these, save they too stand in the sunlight, but with their backs to the sun?" So even these people that are out and about, that are protesting, they too are standing in the sunlight, just like the light workers are, just like the people who are standing in love, the people who are standing for peace, and in peaceful ways. They're all under the same sun, but they have their back to the sun. They only see their shadows, and their shadows are their laws. And what is in the sun to them but a caster of shadows? And what is it to acknowledge the laws, but to stoop down and trace their shadows upon the earth? But you who walk facing the sun, what images drawn on the earth can you hold? You who travel with the wind, what weather vanes shall direct your course? So I thought that was very poignant for the people who are standing for peace, the people who are standing for light. And what is the sun that it's referencing? What is that sun that some people are facing and some people are turning their back to? The sun is the light of the universe. It is the universal love. It is reminding us that if we are facing only the sun, we are not seeing the shadow. And we don't see the shadow in ourselves or in others. As long as we're facing the light of God, facing the light of the universe, then that's what we're seeing is love. But if we turn our backs to the sun, we're going to see the shadow. We're going to see the shadow self, the shadow side of society, the shadow side of the experience. And they turn their back. For those that are turning their back to the light, they're turning their back to the love of God. And they're casting their shadows or their laws and trying to chisel it into their own likeness. Protesting is sometimes necessary, but with the strength of integrity and love and purpose for the highest and greatest good, while facing the sun, while facing the love of God. For those who are committing the crimes in the name of a protest could only see that their actions are acting out of the very shadow that they're trying to defeat. They're tracing their shadow in the ground and separating through polarities even more. They're thinking that they're trying to bring attention to their pain, but they're actually creating a deeper polarity by committing the crimes that they're committing. So unfortunately, God is not going to wave a magic wand. I wish He would, and make things get all better real quick and resolve the conflict. But what is God doing? God is standing beside every single person. God is reminding every single person of the light they have in their heart, reminding them of their gifts and their strengths, and encouraging everyone to stay centered in their hearts. Light workers, you keep your face to the sun. Keep your face to the light of God. And see the goodness, and don't turn your backs on the sun to trace your shadow on the ground. So I want to do a little exercise. It's called a breath exercise, and then we'll go right into a meditation. And in this meditation, we'll have a moment where I'll do the crystal bowl so that we can travel and journey with that sound. So breathe with me as we begin this. Note how it feels. Take a nice deep breath. And notice how it feels. Pull that cool air in through your nostrils, moving the breath downward into your chest, filling up your lungs slowly and deliberately until they are completely filled. And then pause at the peak of that fullness and ask, what does it feel like to be full? And with your full lungs now, breathe it out. Allow the body and that warm air to move across your lips, noting the sound it makes. And breathe out slowly and deliberately until your lungs are completely empty. And then pause at the moment of emptiness and ask yourself, how does it feel to be empty? And with the empty lungs, now breathe in again. Allow this process to flow inward and outward as your respiratory instincts naturally take over. Now with your eyes closed, as you are breathing, notice how your body relaxes. Feel the relaxation of your mind as it is easy and eased by paying attention to the breath. Feel your emotions relax because you know you are blessed with plenty. As you continue to breathe at an easy and relaxed pace, let any thoughts or distractions float on by without judgment or harsh thoughts. Allow yourself to feel into your sense of well-being. Feel your well-being and hold that feeling for as long as you can. Well-being out into the outer reaches of your energy field and out to the limitless expanses of the universe. You are nowhere, yet you are everywhere. You are no person, yet you are every person at this moment. You are pure love. And in this state of pure love, touch the hearts of every soul on earth and pass that knowing that they are pure love onto them. As you are contemplating your journey through love, start to bring your attention back into this room and back into your body. And when you are ready, wiggle your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And so it is. Well, I hope you enjoyed that meditation, and I hope the sound of the crystal bowl came through and was able to have a good sound for you through this recording. So be well, my friends, and please join us again, and until next time, amen.